What up, though? This B-Boy Reg,
I'm DJ Butter, y'all. We
and we
funky
funky fresh
fresh
in the
in
flesh.
the flesh. We back. There we
Yeah.
go.
What's
Yep, I
going
got
on in the world, man?
man. I got the funky fresh jacket. This Strike Money's jacket, man. Yep. Shout out to Strike Money. You
That's what's
know,
up.
he gave me the whole jogging suit, man. Shout out to Strike. He got Mountain Climbers. Y'all know about Mountain Climbers. Check him out in the Proof documentary, searching for Big Proof. You know what I'm saying? It's out right now on Radiant TV. Check it out, yeah.
Yeah. What's that? A ninja on the front?
It's like a Chinese man with a yeah. It's like almost a ninja. Like a
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean to say Chinese man.
Right. And Asian.
Japanese man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what's up. Yeah, that's
yeah,
kind of dope.
yeah,
Shout out to Strike. Yep.
yeah,
Man, it's been crazy in hip hop and just in general, man. Like the world.
yeah.
You know, I just seen something about Busta Rhymes where he got they was coming after him for assaulting his think like his assistant or something like that.
Hmm.
I was like, what you think is you think now like because it just seemed like I can't say it's an attack on hip hop, but like entertainment in general, like it just seemed like we're hearing more stories or is it just more happening? Because in my opinion, I just think we have so much more access to things. A lot of this stuff been going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we got the cell phones, man. I think
Right.
the distraction from the cell phones and period overall just is just making it more accessible for people to act a fool.
Yeah. I think too, like in this case, it was just like I think his assistant was a male or something like that, and they were saying he socked him in the eye a few times or something like that. I
Mhm.
think too, like the world is just more sue happy. Like everybody's going to court for everything possible,
Right,
you know.
right. I
And
mean, people are tight now, man. I think people playing with time. I think people playing with people's time. On this, you turn on the news. I think people in a frantic, man. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Just period overall. I mean, people playing with just being free from COVID and all this stuff went on with that. You know what I'm saying?
right,
You got, getting on planes and all that stuff. You can't take that for granted. People still wearing masks out here. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah,
it's
think people just emotionally was I think being locked down and all that, I think it emotionally changed a lot of people too.
yeah, it did. It did. It
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. I was also what else? I seen Fat Joe Fat Joe, they was coming after him hard. Like a lot of the he made the comment about the foundational black Americans and it's really it's like a whole group of people that's legit though, and I don't think he really understood like how strong certain movements are. So like when you look at Tariq Nasheed, the guy that made Hidden Colors and stuff
Mhm.
like that, their whole thing is um as African Americans that were brought here, you know what I'm saying, and raised here, and what we fighting for. The thing is, every time we create something or do something, it's almost like somebody come and hijack what we created, right? So when Fat Joe was saying, that Latinos or whatever created hip hop or their part in creating hip hop, those guys took offense to that because they're like, no, we created hip hop. Why is it every time we create something, somebody else want to take credit? And I don't think it was like they were saying that Latinos didn't play a part in it, but it's like it just got to the point where like Lord Jamar chimed in on it and he was saying Fat Joe's wrong. And even some of the old school, like the originators and pioneers, they were saying he was wrong. And I think he was standing up for his people, but at the same time, you know, A lot of them guys, man, they just like they like, damn, can we have something to ourselves? You know what I'm saying? That we created that we get credit for. And here it is 50 plus years later, and people attacking it saying they created it and all of that. So it's
You
just
see,
crazy to see how that unfold.
man, you see how Melly Mel, what his comment was.
No, I didn't see his
Yeah,
what he
you gotta see what he said. You know, he was saying basically he was saying everybody was all together. I mean, it was he was basically saying you know it's all labeled we all dark skinned people.
right,
So it's like we fall under the umbrella. Even DJ Rob Swift, he said, "Man, I've been in hip hop since the beginning as well.
right,
And if you look at my family photos, it's you you won't see bunch of black people in the photo. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So I don't know, man. It's with that situation. I mean, the Bronx is just a melting pot. You
Yeah.
know,
And I think too, like when a lot of people talk about things, some stuff, New York just got a whole different like when they get on like Fat Joe or other Latinos or people about saying the N-word, right? I think New York in general, they just got a different culture of how they grew up, especially in that melting pot. But to
Mhm.
the outside world, it's like, no, you know what I'm saying? I grew up around white boys all the time. We would never allow them, even though they grew up in the hood. And
Right,
some of them say it, but it's still like each area got their own little culture when it comes to certain things.
right,
But yeah, but them dudes like Jason Black and Tariq Nasheed, I definitely get where they coming from, like on a bigger scale,
right,
because it's like we create swag, we create what's dope, we create the culture of a lot of things. Or even like just as civil rights, when they come up with all those like any type of minority protections or minority benefits or civil rights, it's like it's our people fighting for it, and
right,
then everybody else jump on the bandwagon and say, look at me, I'm a minority, right? Or I deserve these benefits, but none of them fought for it. You know what I'm saying? And then they get protections we don't get. It's no
so
anti-black hate crime. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it.
of course. Man. Even he was saying Rob Swift was saying he said, man, we all come from Africa. Like on
Right.
on that on that on that real side. But that's a tough thing because it's like you know the perception of hip hop projected to us in Detroit. It was a melting pot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like,
Yeah.
but we didn't really see the roots. Like they arguing about like that. But as far as we seen B Street and you know, a Melly Mel crushing the mic, but it was so much going on. I don't know where's really Cab Calloway from? Where is he originally from? Them
Yeah.
guys were rapping back then. You know what I'm saying? So I don't
Right.
know, man. That's a tough situation. I think when you get on these podcasts and some things you gotta let them you gotta balance out the pain in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Because really, like them guys, when you think about them guys, they argument was bigger than hip hop. It's like they been on a whole fight for reparations, right?
right,
It's
right,
like, okay, we was born here. Our grandparents, our great grandparents were slaves, right? So the reparations is for us because we was born. So here, so we the ones that was our generations were cursed from slavery, right? And we're still living through all the psychological stuff of that. So basically what they're saying is we get these other groups every time we put something to the forefront, like someone that's African or Jamaican or something like that. They come over here in the 80s or 90s, and it's like the question is, do they deserve reparations just because they're black in America, right?
Right.
And they're trying to make it a clear line that, look, this is what African American is, and it's the descendant of slaves, is what their argument is. And it's like, if you're a descendant of a slave here in America, there's certain things that we're fighting for that other cultures are not fighting for, right? So for Fat Joe to go on there and say, oh, a bunch of broke N words, you know what I'm saying? When he's talking about them, that was offensive to them, because it's like, we're not even just fighting for hip hop, we're fighting for a lot of stuff for descendants of slaves. So
Oh,
I think it was some ignorance on his side about who they are, but I mean, they did express how they felt about hip hop. I don't know if how much of the history they really know, but when you look at it on a bigger scale, this just always happened to our people, where it's like, okay,
totally.
we did this and we did that, and we don't get all the credit for what we created. Somebody always come and hijacking our movement or our
Everything.
cause, and that's how they looking at it. You know.
I
But
mean,
yeah, man,
it's a list of stuff we created, like street lights and
yeah, street
straightening
light,
comb,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
cell phones, everything.
yeah, and it's like at some point in time, nowadays where we got a bigger voice in these platforms, people speaking up. It's like we want what we deserve and we want our proper due. And anybody to talk against that is against us. And I that's where those guys were coming from. You know what I'm saying? But Fat Joe grew up in the era. He grew up in the elements. We all around that 50-year-old age. So anybody that's like 45 or older pretty much grew up. Hip hop is our culture. But if
Right,
you grew up in the Bronx, in New York, where it was created, you probably know more about it than majority of the world, right? And the background. But even then, it's people that grew up around him that argue with, you know what I'm saying, what their contribution was, and what their influence was. But for us on the outside, like you said, the first movies we seen was Beat Street, Crush Groove, and a few videos we saw, and we saw like a melting pot of people. Even though they were the minority in those movies, we just seen it as one big group.
yeah. Too, I think the way he came across on the interview, the broke nigga statement, things like that. I think at the end of the day, podcast is pulling a different energy out of guys.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
at the same time, the artist development part in the record label it need to happen tomorrow and next year. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Just for OGs and young Gs, that's completely missing. Everybody trying to put an album out, and the way they do they setup
right,
uh, to do these podcasts and things, you got to really lawyer yourself. Just that's where a lot of these guys making mistakes at. Even going live, uh, when
yeah,
you pulling out certain money out the bank account and you going live, and it's just it needs some artist development in that. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people went live and died on the scene. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
And it's
I
like, man, when you see artists on podcasts, it's all, unless they go like on some of the bigger platforms, it's almost like all the media training went out the door. Like,
right,
back in the day, or not even back in the day, major artists, when they go through the machine and they're doing interviews like on actual like TV platforms or some of the larger podcasts, there's people that help teach them and train them about media, what to say, what not to say.
right,
Sometimes there's people saying, okay, we're going to have our person on, but you can't ask them about this. Or if they
right,
ask you about this, you know what I'm saying, don't answer the question, or you know what I'm saying, dodge that question or whatever. But a
Right.
lot of podcasts, people come on like it's a therapist session or event session,
Yeah, you can't
and
do
the
that one.
media training go out the door. And like I know we try to be mindful of what we ask, or if somebody's going too far in the deep end, we be like, turn turn that corner, man, you know.
Right, right,
But
right.
yeah, that's crazy, man.
You seen a dude pop his almost shoot himself on the on the podcast show.
Yeah,
I said,
that's
"Wow,
crazy.
man." I mean, look at that. Just shout out to him. I'm glad he ain't hurt himself. I know he an OG out there, but that wasn't an OG move. You got to put that shit up
Nah,
right.
but that's the thing. You still hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to live with that. Like it's funny how 8 Mile created the term cheddar bob, right? Like that's called a cheddar bob from now on. But it's
Right.
like you on you technically you're on national TV. It becomes a viral reel, right? So it's like
Mm,
even even if someone fakes something like that, you still known as the cheddar bob. Like
man,
you don't have the same respect from a lot of people that you did before it happened. So nobody's, and that's the thing. That's why I said the media training. Nobody's going on BT or MTV
doing
studios with a gun in their pocket where they gonna
that.
right. You be shut down from all media at that point.
Radio, TV,
Yeah,
shit, man, all that. Hey, shout out to the real Cheddar Bob, DJ Wreck, man. He ain't like that, man. That's my guy right there. He got on TV and said, "Man, that's not me. I gotta live with that shit."
right.
And we gotta get DJ Wreck on the show, Bob Claus.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's funny.
wow. Hey, you see the situation with Gillie's kid, man, that's a sad situation, man. Well, they said it's supposed to be the guy from high school was like a basketball star that killed his son. Well,
Nah.
yeah, it's just recently it popped up on the internet. This guy was a super basketball star, man. He played basketball at night in the morning and murder at night.
Damn.
So they added it up like, and the dude started rapping. You know what I'm saying? So he did
Damn.
his first rap video. I guess he was making fun of the situation, and
Right.
they caught him. They caught him the next day after he released his video. Man,
Damn. Self snitching on the
caught
self.
him in front of his mama. You know what I'm saying? Did him in front of his mama.
That's crazy.
Uh,
That's crazy.
Shout out
Yeah,
to Gillie
man.
Wallo, man. That's a sad situation, man.
Just throwing away 2 lives again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
but at the end of the day, man, I'm just you get to a certain place in life, you try to put the word out. I mean, look at the influence Wallow has on young dudes, or just talking to them and all of
mm,
that. And sometime, man, some people just gonna be ignorant, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think we just have to, if you can't get to a kid by a certain age, you just got to realize sometime the streets gonna take them, or their influence, and it's
mm,
got to be something they got to change within, or the
mm,
environment got to change so they can see something different. But I
mm.
mean, you most basketball stars, they want to protect that at all costs, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes the streets just speak louder of who you supposed to be, or who you think you supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah, totally, man. I can get
Uh,
that. Hey, man, you looking forward to that Nas and DJ Premier album, man? What you think about that coming out? You know?
Yeah, I want to see what come of it. Because I mean, like all the Hit Boy stuff Nas did, I think I don't I think his ear is different for beats a little bit, and I want to see what is presented to him and how they package this together versus how Nas would have worked with Premier back in the day, right?
Mhm.
So I'm more curious than I am like oh yeah, this about to drop. I'm more curious about what comes out of it, right? Because the Hit Boy role was just it just seemed like it had that it factor, right? But I'm curious to see what come out of this.
Yeah, well, just I guess they pretty much doubting that generation, can't sell records or they don't have an ear again. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you heard Snoop and Dr. Dre album, LL's
Yeah,
album.
yeah,
Clean. They clean. Sound and albums. I think the marketing of all of this stuff is everything, though. You know what I'm saying? Just the
yeah,
way, truthfully, I think it should not have been called missionary. You know, but
yeah,
that's just me. You know, but
yeah. I get the theme behind it. It's like you know what I'm saying, a doggy style missionary and all of that. But I understand what you're saying about that. Like it could have been something else. Because I think sometimes we go wrong by artists go wrong. Like they greatest piece of work, they try to market things like as a part two or a continuation of that.
Mhm.
Like even like with Muddy Waters 2 or um Only Built for Cuban Links Part 2 or something
That's
like
a
that.
lot. That's a lot to handle right there. After that,
Yeah,
like Raekwon
especially
album was dope. That shit was real dope. And Muddy Waters too is fire. He got a lot of songs on there. You
yeah,
know, but
but
it
it's like you want as soon as you label it that, you're trying to live up to that and the expectations get, you know what I'm saying? Is it's like way up here, and if it don't meet anything close to that, and then I think the problem is if you let too much time lapse, it's like the music change, but people are kind of still thinking about that. It's like psychologically, you put something in people's mind before it even happens,
right, right,
right?
right, right.
Because you can't go back and try to make the exact same sound 15, 20 years later or even longer. But then you almost got to be in that same pocket for people to appreciate it. It's just a hard feat when you if Muddy Waters 2 would have came out maybe 4 or 5 years after it, I think just the title alone would have helped push it along. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Right, right. Yeah, you're right. Because when you think of doggy style and missionary, you say, okay, well, wonder how Nate Dogg is not a part of it, but wonder how the dog pound sound with them and this new
Right.
stuff. Warren G. But I think if it could have been called Chucks and Stacey Adams or something.
Yeah.
Just to be on a West Coast stuff, just to yeah, I don't know. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I just the way the marketing it because it was a clean album, the way it sounded in the ride, the
Oh
whole.
man.
But people still looking for W bars and these nuts. Just like the
Right.
new. But I don't know.
It's almost like when you name something like that after one of your greatest piece of work, so it's along that line, people expect that you're gonna revisit that
Right,
whole era and that time and all of that. But it's hard to do that when so much time has passed. But
right.
it's a great album, man.
It
And
is. It
Snoop
is.
rapping. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? Like,
super rapping. Super rapping.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Super.
it's good material. I think nowadays though, with artists at our age or in that 40 plus age group that's still making good music, it's hard to have a it can be successful, but it's hard to compete with like you're not competing, but it's hard to chart with like a Drake or Kendrick or something like that because our age group we're listening to Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? We're listening to some of the younger guys, but at the same time, we're not buying albums like that. You know, nobody really is, but we're listening to it on stream. So, like, what's considered success in your opinion for a artist that's over 40 or over 50?
I mean, it's just what your definition of success is. You know, like to me, it would have been dope for me to see like the setup, be different. Hey, pull out Arsenio Hall and talk on the couch with him. You know, bring us back to that. Our our demographic need to see certain things. You know,
Right.
we not aligned with the streamers and the kids as much. You know what I'm saying? But just to left field is things like revisit that in our mind for us to say, damn man, I remember when Snoop and Dr. Dre was on Arsenio Hall and Dre was cutting and Bow Wow came out. We ain't got to keep reliving the experience, but I would have liked to see Arsenio Hall like sit down with them boys and say, man, it's been all this time, 30 years, we back.
Yeah.
Saying, man, this podcast is something different. We ain't got that set, but we live in my crib.
Right.
Let's take it back. Let's take it back to you know where we came from. It that the branding on that would have been like, wow. Our demographic would have been like, wow. He the nostalgic shit they had, the stories they had amongst each other instead of the trendy shit. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's just the way we hit the mind with it. Just like how would we brand it? Okay, we don't have Joe Cool to do the artwork anymore, but to put a condom on the cover, it's kind of like it's different in this time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't
Hey,
know.
so one of my biggest questions is, okay, as an artist, because I mean, so you have artists that are in certain categories. Like some artists at that in that generation are actually still rapping for the money, but then you have some artists that are rapping just they for the love of the music. They want to make good music. Is there is it possible, in your opinion, is it possible for an artist to come out and have like the success, like if a Rick Ross drop or Drake or Kendrick or something like that? Because and what do you think? Is it more marketing or material or because it just seemed like regardless of what like a Snoop do or something like that, it's not really gonna go over with the younger generation. They might listen to it, but they ain't going to school bumping it.
But it's not even that, man. I think it's pretty much the idea of success, man. I think um their unity, man, for them not to be together for 20 something years, you have to you can't take that away. Wu-Tang is always doing something.
Right.
Wu-Tang got kids come to their show with shirts on, knowing the lyrics. They, if whether it's in the U.S. or overseas, and they always showing that unity.
Right.
The brand and they never stop. I mean, can you imagine like um just Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg apparel? Just
Yeah.
before the clothing, I mean, before the album came out, they would have did these vintage T-shirts on these, blue jean jackets or stonewashed shirts with their images on it, or what I'm saying, things up until the album. The nostalgic part
Right.
is where Wu Tang win at.
Yeah.
All the time the kids seem like they getting younger. It's like even with Jay Dilla stuff, man. His vinyl has become like a fashion statement to kids, and almost like
Yeah. So
it's
you you think the kids are willing to listen to it and they're following. It just depends on how the artists want to present themselves.
Display the
Right.
unity. I
Oh,
mean, if 50 brought Lloyd Banks out and said, okay, I'm gonna bring him out to Las Vegas with me. Just the kids know about this, but I'm gonna let them see it.
see it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it's just one show, that's
Right.
just me. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you know, to really get the internet on fire, we gonna do it this way. Just like Dre and Snoop coming back after they disagreements or whatever it was, agreements, whatever it was. It's just the time in between.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think artists at a certain age, I think what they did, like Dre and Snoop and some of the other artists we mentioned, they're just focusing on making good music, knowing that it'll go over well with our generation, and the kids will eventually catch on to it. And if they don't, then oh well. But I don't when I hear artists talk at a certain age, I don't think they're looking to compete with um the younger generation. I think they're more focused on just making good music, and I think that's cool. You know,
Totally, man. I think the word compete with the younger generation is messing up the younger generation anyway. It was no
yeah,
a lot of them don't come back and give no game to them. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I would have loved to see you know the A&R and be a little different.
hmm,
That's it. Show some more unity, man. Just think if Lil Wayne and Cash Money, just like they're touring right now, if they really got together with these young producers, you know, that's all they need as a whole, and did a Hot Boys album. It
yeah,
was 808 Mafias and all these guys. Slip Manny Fresh in, of course. Manny, you gonna make half of the album, but we gonna get half of these guys to work. You know what I'm saying? But if it's the A&R, bro, you know what I'm saying? That's just how, like, you know, as you sit back and listen to these guys, these younger guys making music, the hooks has changed. There's no
yep.
hook. The songs is
The
two
song
minutes.
2 minutes. Man,
You
people,
know what
man,
I'm
God, dog, man. I remember writing this. I remember one time writing a song and it wasn't like 16 bars and a hook, 16 bars and a hook, 16 bars. And like people like, man, you don't got a full 16, or you ain't gonna put no hook in. I'm like, it don't have to have one. And I remember the first it was the first, this was like when Grinding came out by the Clips, right? And I think I was working with Jasper one time doing, I'm like, man, this is just prime example. Sometimes less is more. And I was just hearing like people like Timberland and different people, and the Clips was out. Like the song formats was changing. And it's like, why everything gotta be 16 bars in the hook, six and 3.5 to 4 minutes long? You know what I'm saying? You can
I
go
mean,
longer and shorter. Oh,
that's
what you
when you
call it?
say that's when you
Uh,
say I'm gonna make a bridge, or I'm gonna call another rapper in, or I'm gonna have a DJ do a cut on there. We gonna open our mind up to the song. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gotta just put the pressure on me. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
I think what artists realize, especially like when Red and Meth did the Rockwaller, right? How short that song was. Most radio platforms and their format was only playing when it came to hip hop in particular. Most like mix shows, they was only playing 1 or 2 minutes of a song anyway. So imagine you got a 2 minute song and they gonna play the whole thing. It's a difference, right? Because you vibing with that song. When it's played in the club, you not turning off the rock world early. You know what I'm saying? You're not mixing that out. You're not cutting out one of their verses. It's just like you gotta play the whole thing for it to hit. So I think song formats just changed, and we saw it back then. I just think the younger dudes, they just came in and was like, this is just the format I want to do as an artist, and more of them start experimenting with that, and it just worked.
But with the Rockwaller song, that they one of those guys said they didn't like the song.
Yeah, yeah, and
So,
I think they had like another verse or something and got cut
yeah,
short.
they was disgusted. But then you listen to the frequency of the record, it's like, damn, you got some hip hop cats over a dance beat.
Yeah,
That's what the Rockwaller. You can get in there. Tonight's the night, and time for some action. That's some jump in the crowd, tear the club up type stuff. But doom, doom, you know,
right.
you know what I'm saying? It
Do that
had that,
too.
you know, it's just like this, man. Can you imagine like this just as a DJ? And I think that's just where the ear has left the artist. They have a playlist now. They don't have a DJ sitting there and saying, oh, okay, like a Jam Master Jay, how how he was trying to help Run DMC adjust to what's going on. Like if you hear like what's it all about and pause and stuff, now it sound good, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
But just that ear, man. Like, can you imagine E40 saying saying Eminem, let's do a record right quick. You know what I'm saying? Like and letting E40 like A&R that stuff with the the mob beats and shit like that. Like if that Big Sean, did his record with E40, but as far as that tongue twisting and all that
yeah,
new patterns, if them boys got together, man, that'll be. But it's just A&R, and that's just me,
yeah. It takes somebody with an eye and an ear to really put certain stuff together and make it work.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. What you think about speaking of like groups and everything that's going on? What you think about what's going on with Jim Jones and Cam and 50? I feel like something got reignited there that didn't have to be.
yeah.
Or
It's just
it was still issues, but I just think we didn't really know about it because they just stayed quiet on it and just did their thing.
yeah. It's the saddest thing. I mean, like I called my boy from New York yesterday, and I'm like, damn, it's only the locks is left. Like
And
what I'm
Wu
saying?
yeah,
Yeah, Wu Tang. Like, as far as that situation, man, I think it go back to the podcasting situation again.
yeah,
You gotta watch how you being open with certain things. Certain people do strategies to break up shit. So
right,
when they got you, they got you. When
yeah,
they see vulnerability or my man need money or just like now, another podcaster, man. Hey, Butter, man, you work hard as fuck. Let me pull you aside and do our shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's like, we got a budget over here. And I think a lot of that, you got to stay on top of your brand, what you're doing, boom, boom. And it's not, and it was sad, like, to see Cam go through the situation with his mom. Like, and, this me just, watching Miss Giles hit like on my pages and stuff like that. But hip hop don't hear that.
right,
They don't, lie. It's come outside, you know, and then so much shit going on in the streets with your crew. They need to make money. Boom, boom, boom. It's just sometimes we get insensitive with each other. You
right,
know what I'm saying? And it's beautiful thing that Wallo care. Like for him to put out, instead of us gossiping about it, for Wallo to put out and say, yo, this is what y'all guys meant to me. Y'all branded each of y'all. Seemed like y'all had a brotherhood.
yeah,
Y'all tried and y'all became entrepreneurs without the system as much. You know what I'm saying? But But it go back to the podcast, and again, it's like it's good to see Cam in that space because we got to get out the. As we get older, we can't put out music all the time and doing this. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
not the
he
same.
actually said he was like he in the best space of his life because he don't have to rap. He was like, when I do them freestyles and stuff, it's simply just be for fun. Like if I do music or work with an artist, it's strictly just for fun because I love it and I'm in a good space now. But
I mean, he branded himself, man.
yeah,
He put out a bunch of records, you know, just without the machine. You know, I'm
yeah,
independent. You know what I'm saying? Mace ain't really have to worry about that. So for him to get with his boy and his boy got a comfortable mind state to say, you know, I invest, I work with you. You know, let's do what we got to do. We ain't got to keep putting out an album every 2 3 years. Let's try to slow this down and make it count. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But
And I think like with that situation, this is another example, right? Having too much access to instant is because like if you think about how that look and again they probably was still having issues that just wasn't televised, right? But or made known to the public outside of their circle. But just think about this. So 50 went on Cam's show, right? And he made some comments. And I don't think they were just talking about what happened. I don't think it was really an attack on Jim, but Jim took it that way. But think about this, right? Without podcasts or those platforms being able to bring an artist on that quick and being able to have artists go back and forth on a public platform that quick. The only thing you had before was probably radio. But if I'm an artist, like say for example, 50 was going on a platform and you only had like several like network television stations, right? Just to be prepared for that, you only got a limited amount of time. So you're going to hit the points that's most important to you and your brand. I don't think a Jim Jones name would have even came up in that situation, right? If it did, Jim Jones would have had to find another platform to go on and express how he felt, and that would have took time, right? So the fact that everybody can instantly respond on different platforms because less than a week or so later, Jim Jones was on another platform expressing his the how he felt. So this is where I think uh, easy access and podcasts and everything that's going on, it sometimes hurts us because it's like I'm not taking my opportunity to be on BET the one time you might get on in a year or maybe twice to talk about an old situation like that, right? I would have been up there. You know, most artists would go out and promote what it is they're doing now or something that's going to bring money to their pocket. But now with these platforms and having so much access, you can go on one platform and promote yourself, and the same day you're on another platform promoting yourself and bringing up drama issues or trying to go viral or doing something crazy or whatever, all in the same day. So it's just a different energy out here, and we have to be mindful of that when you're in entertainment or you're an artist or whatever it is you're doing. Like, still have some discretion about yourself where you say, "Hey, I'm here for just this. I know they asked me the question, but I don't want to bring up nothing that's gonna bring no negative energy around me, unless
but
that's what you're in."
but here we are again. It's like Jim should have been on the show way
Yeah,
before way before 50.
right,
But you know, and it just leave room for you to talk to a so-called enemy
right.
about you and your homeboy relationship. You know what I'm saying? When cell phones and calling people is out of style.
Yeah,
And I'm not understanding it. Like as I get older, it's like, okay, I get it. You know, really coming up with a plan with people, it's like we looking for beef on the internet. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? We looking for problems between black on black, and this is how this go, man. And I think that's just where as he grew, even right now, right? Mace was signed to G Unit. Why wasn't he on the show? Why they didn't do it on? It is what it is. Let the room be balanced out.
Right.
Just me just looking at it, just being around niggas that say they don't fuck with me, or they gonna jump me after the club, or just they gonna shake my hand after the club, whatever it is. Just like just
Yeah.
street shit, bro. Like why? When Mace wasn't on the show, the balance of the scale was off.
Yeah. I think too,
Yeah.
man, like I think sometimes we gotta accept the fact, like we try to make people be the same forever. So like when Cam was talking about Jim, and he mentioned it a couple times, like he had pointed out like Jim, in so many words, he was like Jim be claiming a gang, right? And he was saying how I messed up some money and stuff after the verses. They were supposed to go on tour or something, and the venue didn't want no part of it because he was mentioning the gangs and all of that. But then, like even when he came out and spoke after Jim, he was like, you sending. I think he said something to the point like you be sending some of your people on dummy missions. Stop getting them locked up, right? So if Cam is living this life and then Jim is living this life, I think we try to force people to still be brothers in areas where they just
No,
can't be brothers at.
no, not
So
at all.
as the fans and as the general public and as grown people and grown men, we got to realize like everybody ain't meant to be as tight as they once was when they all had
No.
the same mindset. People just grow in different directions, but that don't mean you have to beef with each other.
Right.
And I'm just saying like what Cam was saying about those issues, that's the stuff I agree with, right? But sometimes we don't have to make it a public thing, right? But at the same time, the fans have to understand we can't fuel that fire neither. Like we just gotta allow people to be different people as they age. We can't force them to be what they was back when they
Of
was 20 years
course.
old.
It's a beautiful thing to see them on the show with their suits on.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's like we really taking over this Stephen A. Smith shit. But then it go back to Mace, right? All this shit go back to Mace, right?
right,
Mace said, I took Cam to Biggie. I ain't getting no money.
right,
I helped Jim write a rhyme, write rhymes. I ain't benefit. So it for them to before they get on this TV and this estrogen shit, they supposed to set that down. I'm not dissing none of them niggas.
right.
They supposed to set down before 50 even got around them.
Yeah,
That's just me, man. It's like we in this music industry. We from a land where we can do and raise people flags up and till it burns out. Look at Proof, look at Blade, and look at all these guys that was on the front line doing movements. After
right,
after Breed died, it wasn't no DFC continued to come out.
right,
You know, it wasn't a lot of these, but they all share business cards with each other, man. So before you get on there with somebody that, you know, made shit when 50 didn't work out, you know what I'm saying? So Cam got him on there. You know, Mace ain't on the show with Cam and them. Jim ain't been on the show before 50 got there.
right.
Boom. We ain't gotta hold each other hand, Jim. We don't really fuck with each other, but we know you got an album coming out. Let's talk about, you being on the Rucker, man. I'll see you in 4 more years from now. You playing basketball, let's promote your album. Let me help this
Right.
shit work because you'd have been in the
You know
streets for
what?
this.
that kind of go back to what I'm saying though. Like we can't force that on them to have.
Nah,
You know what I'm
nah, I'm
saying?
not. I'm
If
not saying that either.
yeah, in a perfect world, yeah, we
It
would want
ain't
to do that.
no Dipset members been on the show. I
Right.
get, I get it, though.
Yeah. I
Hey,
can see there.
Jr. Hill, Real Freaky Zeke, hey, Bezo, Chubby Baby before he passed.
Yeah.
You know, any of these guys, we run to the internet quick. Oh, my man died. Oh, this is a problem. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna wait till it's a problem.
Right. I see what you're saying.
You
Yeah.
know, hey, I'm a DJ, man. I done been record labels to niggas. I done did all that shit. But you can't teach these niggas to come back and say, here's a concert ticket or here's a copy of my new album without you.
Right.
You know, and that's it. Go back to Mace.
Yeah.
Mace was supposed to have been on G Unit. Why he ain't there with 50 arguing about what happened with Puffy and G Unit? And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah. I
not
see what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
being light skinned or nothing. I just look, I said, damn, the fuck, you know what I'm saying? You know, these niggas sharing business cards and fucking helping each other right around. Our battley rapping ass niggas at home, they wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
hey, we competitive, sharing, helping you right around. Nigga, I'm about to be on TMZ talking about that shit if you don't, we ain't fucking with each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be
Right.
making sure I'm blackballing you, closing every door I possibly can. And I don't know, man. Maybe I'm overlooking into it, but I look at it that shit like that. Damn, they all helped each other. Maybe they ain't gonna help each other now. Maybe some got delicate or ain't no woman got in the way. It's a lot of
Yeah.
niggas went to jail, you know,
Right.
but you know what I'm saying? That's the beauty. They all wearing one logo. They all
Yeah.
Jim had the gloves on the next day with they got paperwork together.
Yeah.
Cam wearing the jogging suit next week on the show. This how that if they got a brand, if they nigga, I ain't gotta smell you and be close to you, but this is what we doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Niggas waiting for us to fail with this show, Reg. Niggas waiting to
Right.
call you and say what's going on. You know, this how this shit go, bro. I look at it and say, okay, that's why you gotta be. It can't be in the way. You gotta
Yeah.
be ahead of the hustle, man. Cause Mace could have let that shit destroy him, dog. He could have been the top of the food chain, not being in a mental mind state to be. Cam fought to get Mace Masters back, and they all fought with each other, and, you know. But I think it's just you got a business protected. I don't think Lee Iacocca would be in there mad at DeLorean in the office with his lip poked out. They all in one, you know what I'm saying? Like fucking in one building. That's nigga shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's like, the fans demand certain energy, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes the people, the artists play into it when they don't have to. But it's like, that's just human nature too at the same time. And a lot of times people let their emotions take over
It's
and then
bad for business, man. I be feeling like niggas love to see me fail, get with me to drag their feet, to get with me to fucking depress me, and man, fuck that. You see Khaled and 50 Cent hugging the other day,
no, I ain't see that.
right?
Man.
They DJ Khaled and 50 Cent hugging. So what's the problem?
Right, right.
You know who brought them up together?
Who?
Reggie Jackson.
Damn. That's crazy.
OG to OG doing old.
Right, right.
It
Yeah, that's
wasn't no. You know they weren't all in the camera doing this. Somebody filmed 50 from the back and it went viral. But it would you got that's you can't be all like this doing that. You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. I know what you're saying.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
for
yeah,
real,
man,
man.
it's crazy, man. Hey, you hear them conspiracy theories talking about the LA fires had something to do with Puffy and some other stuff like they trying to get. I'm like, man, what the hell is we talking about now? You know what I'm saying? Like everything ain't Puffy fault.
Nah, I think they put it trying to put a blame on those tunnels underground.
Yeah.
They that's you know, I don't know. They
Yeah,
said something
it's
about
just
drones and morbids or something like that.
it's
Of course, it's the wildfires, but the wildfires to be that extreme,
yeah.
and then you got the insurance claims and all that stuff was all that stuff. It seemed like it was like and it seemed like Mother Nature, but
Yeah.
that's just me. I don't get into that part.
Yeah, but I think sometimes, man, I get certain stuff. I'm not like denying certain stuff don't happen, right? But sometimes it's just too many voices on the internet going in too many directions. And I think that in itself can distract people from the truth, right? It's like, okay, I mean, I heard somebody saying, yeah, the wildfires was started because everybody's coming after Hollywood and Puffy and this and that, and they're trying to destroy evidence. And I'm sitting there like, okay, well, how left field we gonna go with this? And my thing is, why come back to Puffy? Like, what the hell this got to do with Puffy? Not
Hey,
saying that nothing is
before I
nothing
moved down here, they were saying this
impossible.
about 6 years ago. They were saying LA was going to be on. I heard that before I moved to the West Coast.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
people keep predicting it because of the landscape and just seeing other wildfires, right? And
right?
how the how the terrain is set up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
I mean, all the technology and information we got access to, right? Some stuff you can see and predict, like, hey, if this was to happen, this is the most likely result, right? So we
Right.
have to prepare for it, just like any hurricane or potential earthquake. They start building structures different now because of hurricanes and earthquakes. The roofing system, like everything is different, right? But my concern is how does this how do we let and I know we can't control it, but how do we let the internet and all these voices get so far gone that we can relate that to something in entertainment with Puffy, and it's like, okay, come on now. I think the world just doing too much sometimes. Like,
Of course. I mean, they know they got the people mindset like that. I mean, I don't like this. Like you say, you investigated into it, you see what's going on. But if you see so much of a distraction,
yeah,
then all the distraction is where all the money is at.
yeah, and
You
and
know,
that
Go
that's
ahead.
going to the point I was saying. Like, it's just too much access, too much information too soon. Because again, when you had limited platforms, you had to pretty much vet everything that you put out, right? You had to have some real information behind it. And you still had people that would put stuff out. You had to inquirers and stuff that would just put any story out there. But it's still like, come on, man. Some of the stuff is like people out there losing they lives, like everything. And it's like everybody expert on this and that, and it's just wild, man. I just think the focus should be helping people rebuild their lives right now, not trying to have a conspiracy theory that lead back to hip hop. you know
No, I think it's deeper than that though. I don't know. It's just like look at the play out. Like I don't know, man. It's deeper than what we see, and it's like one of my homeboys who was saying, man, he said, Butter, man, the world came to an end when people got internet access. You know, And I'm as you look at it, one of my friends was looking up Jehovah Witnesses, it's the same thing. It's just like it's what you gonna educate yourself or you gonna let it distract you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it, she read about it to where she was talking about it and crying to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you get on the phone, is what you gonna feed your brain. I mean, we go to the grocery store, fella. Back in the days as kids, we go buy our food, and the National Enquirers is all in the front line before we spend our money.
Yeah.
Bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody fucking everything, and JFK fucking everything on everything. Everything was before you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like what you know. It's what we feed our brains, man. It's more people distracted than more constructed. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't know, man. I guess I'm overlooking things. Like I don't know. I look at certain shit. I glimpse and I say, damn. Okay, is it the orbits? Is it some? They was talking about the orbits or something hit the mountains, some drones or something. They was talking about that. They was talking about the tunnels being on fire. They didn't talk about Puffy. They talked about Hollywood wanting the tunnels on fire. Then you hear Mel Gibson talk. Did you hear Mel Gibson talk? Huh?
Yeah, I heard some of what he was saying, man. Some of that stuff be hard to listen to, but I heard him.
I mean, he was just
Yeah.
nonchalantly like, I just he grabbed his Emmy, his Oscars, and left.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like those people, and he made those Christ movies and all them big elite Hollywood movies and things he done seen behind them doors. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know, man. It's not for me to, I look at shit, but I see the Puffy shit, but I say, okay, there's some algorithm shit. Okay, they trying to make him suffer more in prison. Oh, okay, they got him in prison. You know,
Yeah. What you think about the documentary that's coming out? Well, it's a couple of them, ain't it?
it's one out with some of the band members on Peacock. Sarah
Yeah.
Stokes. Sarah Stokes. I've been trying to get Mysterious on the show. That's what I really been wanting to holler at. That
Oh
I did
yeah.
a couple songs with her and stuff, but the band and the members of the band and she talking about Freddie P, what he went through with Puffy and things like that. Chopper coming out. A lot of these people, his day one homeboy coming out. I think it's just the fact that they're just showing money and greed. They said Puffy first check was from Clyde Davis was like $50 or $60 million, right?
Wow.
So here Biggie was alive then. So if Biggie getting signed for 200,000 and your man got 60 million, and you
Right.
know he ride the whole label was riding on the back of Craig Mack. He ain't there. Biggie ain't there. I just it's just sad to see the greed in that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
you know,
I
I,
got a I got a question when it comes to that too. I'm gonna ask when we in person with some of our guests, like when we next time we talk to an exec or what I'm saying, somebody on the business side. So in in Puffy situation, because I'll always argue with this. So like Puffy situation. So you say you got 50, 60 million, right?
mhm.
Um, as the label owner and all of that, is what what should an artist get from that? If you have to run an entire label, staff, pay other artists. So we hear that. So you said Big got 200,000 or whatever.
Something like it was a standard. Like he would have got if he sold 1 million records, he would have got 200 more thousand.
Right.
Um, but at the same time,
So you think this is the question I'm asking? If Big or any of them artists would have signed directly with a Clyde Davis or Arista or something like that, do you think should they have got more money, or based on the contract? Like, what would be the difference? Because yeah, what you think he should have got?
No, it was obvious that for him to have that much money at that time when nobody was getting that much money from nowhere.
Right,
Nobody was no money from nowhere. Like Lionel Richie, Rick James, nobody. So for him to have that much money, nothing should be standard.
right, right,
If the contract is say 47 cents on each album or 37 cents on each album, okay, the word gonna get out. I got the biggest deal in the world. Big Craig Mack. It should not be no tension. Y'all, we gonna keep it all together. Craig Mack seemed like he had tension day one.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Puffy is pretty much saying, I'm the sacrificial lamb. I gotta do everything. I gotta get out here and do all I gotta do. So I'm gonna put that on y'all.
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and do what I do in front of the doors or closed doors to get all this money. So I'm gonna put these restraints on y'all. I'm the man. I'm the Don Mega because I did all of this. Made this shit popular.
right,
Not Biggie calling Death Row Records and now Craig Mack over here. This was like day two, day three. You know what I'm saying? It's like the world of it, the lustfulness. I think he had too much too fast. Just like his friends were saying.
so too much power too soon.
Yeah, who's there?
Right,
Like
right,
Maze, Black Rob, G Dep, Sean. The Hitman, Faith Evans. 112. After 2 albums, they said, okay, I'm gonna do the standard deal with y'all. After 2 albums, y'all no good no more to me. And this is how it's supposed to go.
right,
This is how the Clive or these other elite people taught me. So I'm gonna bring that to y'all so Biggie can go over here and go try to roll. He can go try to go get deals behind my back. He can go be in the streets and fuck with niggas got way more money with less money than me.
right,
To try to put this together instead of him saying, I ain't gonna take all your publishing.
right, right.
I know
No,
you
I
know,
guess the question I ask is that um if you run a record label and you got a budget, because okay, that 50 million is your budget and you're building a record label with that, right? um how do you get a return on your investment, and what's the breakdown for artists? Like, do you give each artist, you got fit, let's say you sign 50 people, right?
mhm.
40 45 of them gonna flop and only two of them gonna be superstars. That's just the reality of the industry, right? The 41st person is gonna say, man, I only made $80,000 or $100,000, but my album flopped, they ain't push it, or I had decent material. The star artists might be happy temporarily because they're a star, plus they making money on the road. They not making their money from album sales, right? Well, all that investment, the label is looking at, okay, I just put up 50 million. I'm paying staff, I'm paying overhead, the bills keep coming. I need to recoup as much of this as I can. And I'm basing all of this on two or three artists that might go gold or platinum, right?
Mhm.
From a I think we hold, when it come to like black labels like a So Def or Bad Boy or Death Row, I think those, a lot of dudes got that power and that money, and they probably was trying to do business, but at the same time they wasn't. So they kind of took on that jerking mentality, like, I'm gonna jerk the artist because I have to ensure I'm gonna get this back, because that's what the other people do, right? But if that's how they were trained to run their labels because that's what they thought, is it really their fault for being ignorant and not knowing? Because all they're trying to do is protect their investment. Because if they got this money, if they got 50 million, I'm pretty sure they got to pay it back too, right? With interest. But then you got the artist complaining on one side, I'm getting shortchanged. But shit, I just invested in 40 other people that didn't bring back nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I think that balancing act, man, sometimes creates more pressure. And I think even listening to James and I mean Dame and Jay in them story, you know what I'm saying? Rockefeller, just listening to some of the artists. At first they disgruntled, then they said, no, I had an opportunity. I think we just put more pressure on the black labels
Black,
than we
of
do
course,
on,
totally. I
on
mean,
the white labels. And
yeah,
it's
you can hear not to cut you off, Red. You can hear Benny Siegel talking about at the end of the day, he wish he would have with the dang, you
yeah,
know. But but it's when I think it's when like Suge was saying when Puffy was getting on stage and he wanted to be the artist, he was doing all of this extra stuff, keeping all the publishing, putting it in his mama name, all that extra shit. You won't tell that to Clive Davis. You won't go. And I think a lot of people we sit back. Okay, we the type of race to say, okay, we waiting for this nigga to fuck up. No matter if he done gave me 100,000 before I met him, I had $50. We waiting for this nigga to fuck up.
right,
That's
right.
our
That's what I'm
culture.
saying. Like,
We great at that. Like, look at Dame and Jay. Like, it was already, Beans and them. They talked about the meeting they had to try to single Dame out. Way before they even broke up. Way before
right,
Cam even said, but it wouldn't have been no state property. Wouldn't have been all this other stuff. Jay was
without Dame.
comfortable.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Jay was comfortable with him and Beyonce and and people he had, close ties to Rihanna's and them things. Neo's okay. I don't even think Neo really claimed Jay as putting his music out, but Kanye, Kanye say, yo, Dame gave me a listen.
yeah.
You
Dame,
know,
Dame, Dame was Rockefeller, right? You can't deny that. Like everything outside of Jay was Dame. You know what I'm saying? Jay was. It seemed like Jay was focused on Jay, but I guess the argument I'm making is when black artists sign with black labels, I think we hold an expectation that
totally.
we're gonna get a certain different. Like 50 said it best, right? He said whatever goes wrong in an artist's life, you can take them from poor to rich, is still not enough. Everything that goes on in their life is the label's fault, right? And this is 50 talking from being a label owner, right? Also being somebody that was signed to another label. So it's like at some point, some artists I think are just lazy and they're not taking full
Right,
advantage of the
right.
opportunity. And just like you worked with artists before, where I seen you pay pretty much studio time and
It
everything
don't matter.
to
It don't
take care
matter.
of an artist. You know what
It
I'm
don't
saying?
matter. I
They ain't
do that for
smoking unless
me.
butter provided. They ain't drinking. They ain't eating. They ain't doing no
I do
songs
that for
unless the
me.
camera
It's
on,
just
right?
like, just say for instance, right? If our cameraman followed us on location inside of a club to film some shit,
Right,
he got his gun on him inside his bag because he nervous. He like, yo, I'm gonna keep my shit because I don't know. I ain't never been here. I pull him over in a situation and something go down.
right.
At the end of the day, it's gonna be on us. It's like
Yeah,
so. It's like even now, it's like people. I ain't really supporting that show because the rich niggas ain't on there.
right.
They calling me right now as we do this show.
Yeah,
This long as you know what you doing, the art's gonna drop, man. They gonna fall by the wayside, man. And that's why I respect E40. E40 has so many artists that he helped put in the game, and he's still smiling. He got his wife at the front of the games with him. You
Right.
know, he playing. You know, they dressed alike. He done gave him the game. Y'all learn how to distribute your shit, whether it's sell or his be legit or D shot or y'all branded yourself. Rapper niggas is clingy. Them niggas
Yeah.
get clingy, and they vampire-ish sometimes. So I
And I
learned that.
think you just explained the difference. See, like when you was explaining like with Diddy earlier, right? Getting that 50 million. Okay. I if I'm in that position, my first thing is I gotta turn this 50 million into I gotta get a return on my investment because I gotta pay this 50 million back, right? It wasn't given to me. Let's be
Right,
clear about that. I gotta pay this 50 million back and I gotta make money myself, and I got to feed all of these mouths. And all of this is based on an artist going out and performing and recouping the money that I invested into each artist, right? And I gotta treat each artist fair. But when you said E40 or Master P, he they taught people the game, right? So if I got this and I know this artist is dependent on me, I think the best outcome would be okay, I'm investing in this artist, but let me protect my investment by showing them the game, right? And
right,
helping educate them because the more they can make out of this without me giving it to them, the better of a relationship we'll have and the more longevity that artist will have and so on and so forth. Even if that artist only do 2 or 3 albums here with me and I recoup my money from that investment, the more successful that artist is still gonna, put money back in my pocket because people always gonna reach back to them
right.
projects we did together, and that opens the door for us to work together in the future. So I think it's a balancing act on both sides. It's the artist. First of all, you got some artists don't even want to learn the game, even if you're teaching it to them, right? Some artists lazy, but then you got crooked label owners too. So it's just that balancing act, man. Somebody's trying to protect their investment, somebody's trying to come up, and a lot of times it just don't mesh well, man. But I think we just hold the black labels when artists sign the black labels. They're like, oh, he should have did this. He should have
Yes,
showed up.
sir. I think some niggas just worldly, Reg. Certain niggas, it's like we ain't gotta say black labels. Just some labels that's super active done help. The culture. I think it's just like Puffy from the era where he can say, once you on TRL, you gonna sell 100,000. Once you
Right.
on Soul Train, you gonna do another 100,000. Once
Right.
you on Big Boy, and the artists do like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is the game. He from that way where E40 and Master P tell you I got the game from the Bay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Master P still got, despite his brother being on stage, he still got the whole No Limit.
Yeah.
Mystical come out once in a while, still to this day, because he say, yo, yeah, I can be a slave owner, but I'm not. I'm gonna give y'all a house, a car, a pistol, and 200,000 in y'all bank account. Y'all make sure y'all get the album done, and we gonna be all right. We gonna go on tour right after that. I'm gonna press a 2 zillion records on y'all shit, and we gonna be touring 50 years from now.
Right.
Opposed to Black Rob saying, "Damn, why Puffy ain't call me? I'm used to shit being a certain way. I'm
Right.
used to I'm used to Butter doing every goddamn thing."
Right.
Then the rappers like that with me now. Like, yo, okay, let me see if you care about this shit without me.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's kind of like creating the person that's gonna fish themselves versus fishing for
Man,
you.
that's
So it's
man,
like,
that's the beauty of man. Jim Jones and Cameron is that. That's
yeah,
man. I'm not gonna let you just sit around and be a dumb bodyguard. Pick up the
right,
camera.
right,
Well, I don't even want to play you like a bodyguard. You getting beefs into all these niggas beefs and shit like that. But Jim was directing the old boy video. You know, I
Right,
don't want you to be so fucking clingy on me. Go ahead and build your own shit. Learn how to rap. You
right,
know, so just for they was up. That's what people see in them guys. Like them niggas self-made. They didn't really need no machine. They didn't really need nobody to help them be no move their arms and their legs for them and their mouth and be ventriloquists for the niggas. They
right.
all they all got a coat with them. JR got a coat. You know, Hell Rail. 40 Cal got the battle rapping coat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, they done build that shit just like Cam and Mace TV show. They don't need no guests because they got they.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's but being self-made rappers want to suck, man. They want to kiss the ass, and you know,
Yeah.
with the easy way. And them hustling rappers, hey, all the hustling rappers that made it out of that shit, and you know, and ain't immature with it now. Man, you
Yeah.
gotta salute the
It's just a
E40s,
different.
man.
Yeah.
Brother Lynch Hung and Strange Music and X Rated, them guys, man, them guys did. They was out the trunk back then. X Rated go to jail for 20 years and get out and still sell us at zillion records.
Yeah.
The fans, like, I don't care how old you are. Like, the nigga, you showed us how to be independent. You showed us how
Right.
to that 4080 magazine shit. Man, that was all independent. The energy from that was we don't need a machine. You know what I'm saying? Or if the machine ain't there, you know, we ain't gonna fail if the machine ain't there. We gonna still do our thing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's where it's at, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You see,
All right.
Bizarre out of D12, hey, he always been like that, man.
Oh yeah. Bizarre be hustling, man.
And you know, independent like a mug. I mean, that's what I witnessed.
Right.
8 o'clock in the morning, butter, get your punk ass up. What's up? Hip
Yeah.
hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the work. All
Man, I
right, man.
appreciate this, man. Appreciate y'all time, man. Y'all subscribe, like, and share. Man, we making the best of these moments, man. Life is short. Man, for real. Happy birthday to B-Boy Reg is coming. Mine coming next week. I'll be
Oh
51.
yeah. Aquarius, age of Aquarius.
Yeah. Keeping it
Yeah.
going, man. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a Capricorn, your parents should have waited. All right, y'all. We out.
Peace out.